Hi, this is Mariano from Event Fabric, and this is a quick overview over the Event Fabric UI. When you are new to Event Fabric, or you just start, or you don't have any dashboard, you will see something like this at the beginning, or just an empty dashboard. If I create an empty dashboard, you will see this as your first view of what Event Fabric is, and you can click Go to Overview to see this video, or a new version of it, or you can close. Uh, Starting from scratch with a complete blank slate is not the most recommended way to start right now for Maven Fabric. What we recommend is to click on New and go to Load Examples and explore the examples, because you have examples for individual features, for individual widgets, for a whole set of widgets, and complete dashboards involving even set of widgets and features. For example, the most common and simple one we have is sales, uh, where you can see different widgets being used, different plugins being used. If you click edit, you can see we are using 2 plugins. We will see what that means later. Or even a more complex one, for example, logistics, where we will involve 3D widgets, plan maps, visualizations, and a new sticker. So let's see what features do we have in the UI. First, on the bottom left, if we have it collapsed, we can expand the menu where we have almost all the available options. On the bottom right, we have the toggle full screen icon on the devices that they support. For example, on the iPad, we cannot toggle full screen for Event Fabric. And on the top right, when there's a problem, an icon will appear with the number, or not a problem, but a notification or some useful information. Um, an icon will appear with the number of notifications. If we click on it, we can see the details of the notifications. We will see it later in action. On the panel, when we expand it, at the top we have the name of the current dashboard, in this case logistics, and it's a drop down. You can choose from your dashboards to switch between them. And then we have design, which opens the dashboard designer. This is the view where we connect the sources of information, transformers, filters, stakeholders, timers, and finally we send them either to a widget to display it or to an endpoint to send it to other system. Here in this view, we have on the left again a panel with all the available nodes we can use. Just by clicking and dragging and dropping them, we create new instances of them. And when they start, they are semi-transparent. This means they are not configured. To configure it, you have to right-click on them, and you will get this menu that it varies depending on which node you are using. But normally, the first icon is to configure it. For example, if we click on the configuration icon for a source, it will ask what kind of source do I want. The amount of sources we have depends on how many plugins we have loaded. For example, in this case, if I pick sample event source, which is a good way to start, we get a configuration. We can click OK and ignore it, and it will start working and generating events, so we can play with the sample event source even when we don't have events. Other thing we can do, for example, is to select the where is it? Local event. So it says there's no configuration for local event, and we can see since we got this notification, we now have the notification pop up saying there's one notification that happened, and we can see what it said when it happened. So now we have this selected with this local event. We can set the name, say sales and selected. And if we go around and click here, for example, and go back to design, we can see we got 2 events where we clicked. We can react to clicks on the UI. If we click on settings on a transformer, we will get this new UI. On the left again, a panel with all the available options. In this case, there are sections with the blocks we can use to build logic. On how to use these blocks, you can see different videos where we explain and build dashboards. We also provide block templates for commonly used features, so you don't have to start from scratch. For example, if you want to set a color from a field by thresholds, you can just drag and drop this and, for example, uh, change something and it will work. I explained this feature show input and show output in other videos you can explore on our YouTube channel. But show input shows all the inputs that are all the events that are coming to this node. In this case, we are not connected to anything, so we don't have inputs. And output preview allows us to see what the blocks we are currently editing would do on the inputs. So we can see what happens and change things without having to go back and forth between this view and this view. Filter is similar to transformer, but there's a filter template here. We have to set the keep field to true or false if we want to keep or drop the event. The third icon is to remove the item. The second one is the connection. If we click it, we get like a wire or a connection, and if we click again on another node, it will establish a connection. And now you can see that the outputs from the source are going to the as inputs to the transformer. And if we, for example, say block template, set color by threshold, as we said before, and we set amount here, and we can see in the output preview that we are setting the color here, the field color, and we can see the inputs here as they happen. We click OK, and we can say now that it's configured, it's generating events. The output is the same as the input plus all the fields that we modify, add or remove. Here we can see we are setting a color and a label color field. And the other items here are sources, transformers, filters, data views or widgets, state loaders, which are run when the dashboard loads to populate the dashboard with recent events, tickers or timers that when configured they will do something every interval of time. For example, let's say generate one tick every 5 seconds. And there are many of them. You can explore them later in the documentation or in other videos. We have the hub, which distributes the inputs to the outputs in different ways according to the configuration. Endpoints, which send the events to different outputs, for example, other systems back to Fabric, or you can even, for example, generate a sound. And state holder, which is similar to a transformer, but instead of emitting the input plus a transformation, it emits its internal state. So you can do stuff like counting, accumulating, or holding the maximum value for something and emitting that. So this is the design and our visual programming language. The new entry is to create a new dashboard. On the create tab, you create a dashboard from scratch. You can set the title and select which plugins you want to load. Each plugin adds different features to Fabric. The most common ones are the widgets, but you can load also new sources or even themes. And as I said before, you can load examples. So if you want to play with something, you just load an example, play, change it, break it, remove it, and start again. Edit is to edit the current dashboard. You can change the title and the plugins that you're loading. You can see here in this dashboard we are loading the dark theme, and widgets, widget 3D, which is for this one, eCharts, which is for these charts, and maps, which is for this map over here. Remove is to remove the dashboard. If you click yes, it will be removed. You can say no, of course, or you can back up the dashboard. If you back up the dashboard, it will allow you to download a file with this dashboard as it is right now, and you can later load it. For example, let's remove this dashboard. So now we are on the sales dashboard. Sharing, you can share your dashboard publicly, which will provide a URL you can copy and share with people. You can of course stop sharing. You can also share with authenticated users only. So only people that have an account on Event Fabric can see your dashboard. You can of course stop sharing. In the future, we will allow to share dashboards with specific users, not with all authenticated users or publicly. But for now, those are the available features. Layouts, I explained it on the introductory dashboard building video, but it's a way to quickly change the layout of a dashboard. It provides pre-built layouts, and you can switch the places between the dashboards, the widgets. It's useful for common layouts, but if you want to have more control over the widgets, you can click here and set edit mode. It will show you some border around the widgets. You can set a title, for example, sales by continent, and you can resize a widget, and you can move it. So we can put this over here, which doesn't make any sense, but just to show you how flexible it is. And then you have the settings. Well, let's go to a nicer layout. Settings, depending on the permissions you have, you get more tabs here. For common users, it's only to change the password. Help takes you to our documentation, and of course logout logs you out. This was a quick overview of the UI for Event Fabric. I hope you find it easy to understand and useful. If you have any question or doubt, just contact us by mail, by Facebook, by Twitter, or on the YouTube comments. So I hope it was informative for you. Just check the YouTube channel for updates on this video and other videos explaining things in more detail. Bye.